Buying your first home or your next home can be an exciting journey.
Yeah, whether you're going from being a renter to a buyer, or you're upsizing or downsizing, or maybe it's a job relocation that's having you start a home buying process all over again.
It may have been a while since you bought your last home, and this video is a great review of the home buying process. We are the Casas de Walker Team, and we walk with you through the home buying process and the emotional journey that might entail.
Mm-hmm. Problem solving any questions you may have and supporting you through sometimes what can be a pretty emotional journey.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Brenda.
And let's get into it. We'll start with step one, and that is get your personal finances in order. This is where you need to start. Unless you're buying for cash, you'll need to demonstrate your credit worthiness to a lender.
So here's some practical tips that you can use. First of all, check your credit history. You can get an annual report for free from any one of the credit bureaus.
And on that, you'll want to be able to check that all your credit cards are reported and that your payments are current and that there is no evidence of any kind of identity theft or some collections that got attached to your name because maybe your name is common. The second practical tip here is to be at work at saving your money. Now, for best interest rates, you'll probably aim for 20% down, but in many markets that may seem like just way too much money. There are great programs available for first-time home buyers at 3.5% or 3%. There are programs available for veterans at 0%. There are down payment assistance programs to help with some grants or some secondary loans. But beyond that, you'll want to have 2 to 3% of the house price set apart for your closing costs.
If you find that you need time to improve your credit or pay off some debt, you need to focus on that first. And at this point, it might be helpful to speak with a lender because they can give you some practical ideas based on your situation. And we've got some contacts for that.
And we find that a conversation with a lender at this point can give you a target to aim for if your credit is not quite where it needs to be. Now, a lender is also going to check into things like your job history, your employment stability, and your credit usage. All of that will help put you in a great position in order to be able to buy a home. We've had people that have discovered something at this point in the process that they need to work on in order to be ready. Well, let's move on to the second step of buying a home.
The second step is to find a real estate agent. You will want a real estate agent that will guide you through this whole process. So we have found people who have asked in Facebook groups for a real estate agent, and immediately they get about 600 answers within like the first 30 minutes.
Or 700 direct messages.
Correct, yes. So that isn't very helpful. So here's some tips for finding a real estate agent that can work with you.
The first one is to ask your friends and family, or maybe you're involved in groups like at a church or a synagogue or something. So ask around for people who have had great experiences with a real estate agent.
Yeah. And then also read online reviews. We keep ours, for example, like in Google, but there are all sorts of different portals. So you want to go to a few different places and look at reviews for agents.
Right. Agents don't always collect reviews in the same place all the time, and so the reviews are scattered around. So if you're researching an agent, you can try some of the major portals that might have a couple of reviews, but the lack of reviews in one place doesn't mean that they are missing reviews in another. As Brenda said, we are collecting our reviews on Google. So when you search for our name or our team, Casas de Walker, you'll find our reviews. Mm-hmm. When you are narrowing down your options of real estate agents, your next option is really to choose, do you want to work with a mega team where you have a specialist for every part of the transaction? Or do you want to work with a small husband and wife team like us? Or maybe you might even prefer working with a solo agent. It's really your preference. Mm-hmm. And that's why we recommend you interview a couple of different agents.
Right. And also, once you do find a few agents, check out their social media. See what kind of things they post, what videos they do, and that will also begin to help you see whether you can click with them.
Yeah, in their social media, you might find videos and you'll get a sense of their personality. And that, as Brenda said, will help you identify whether or not you're able to work with them. Now, when you work with us, you'll find a level of professionalism, you'll find a level of customer service, and maybe experience in helping walk with you through the transaction. We might not get it perfect every time, but we certainly try our best to get you to that finish line. Now, even if you are not moving to the Treasure Coast of Florida where we are located, we have a network of referrals that we can connect you with a highly recommended professional in your area. So let's move into that third step, and that is getting that pre-approval letter.
Mm-hmm. Buying a home takes a big team, from the real estate agent to the title company to an inspector, and especially to a lender. And a real estate agent will help you connect with a really good lender.
Now, typically before going to see the home, you'll want to get your pre-approval in place. But sometimes you're ready to go see a home and we'll meet you at the home, but then we'll have this pre-approval conversation with you. Now, if you have saved enough money to have the cash, or maybe you have inherited money, then you can avoid this step of getting a pre-approval, but most people will need a loan to buy a home.
So here's some practical tips in finding a lender. Ask your real estate agent. They have usually worked with several and can give you some highly qualified lender recommendations.
And because we are a bilingual team, we have who speak English and Spanish. Well, we have lenders who work in both languages. And you might find it helpful to actually interview a couple of different lenders, just like you interviewed a couple of different real estate agents to see who you can click with. Well, we suggest that you interview a couple of different lenders as well, whether that's a big bank or whether that's a direct lender or whether that is a mortgage broker. We'll give you a couple of different recommendations. Now, every lender is going to give you the steps that they need to get you through the pre-approval process. This will be typically an online application where they will ask for you to submit several documents. So do the application process. Fill out their online form, submit the paperwork. This is often where people get stuck. The lender's going to ask for all these different documents like pay stubs, bank statements, or income tax records. This will verify your information, or they will go and verify all of this information.
This is the process where it's at this point where many buyers kind of get stuck. Either they haven't gathered all the documentation, or maybe they get tech challenged, whatever the case may be. We are here to help with that process.
Right. We got scanners in our office. We can scan them all, turn them into PDFs so that you can upload them. Now, 2 mistakes to avoid in this pre-approval process. One is to get pre-qualified without being pre-approved. Pre-qualified is simply verbal reporting. This is what you are telling the lender, that you make so much money, that your credit score is kind of in this range. It's just kind of that verbal, but none of it is verified. And we find in the process that a lot of times the pre-qualification is not quite sufficient to actually get through the whole process. You'll want to save your time and save everybody's time in getting the pre-approval done first.
And then the second mistake, we've kind of already touched on it, is to not finish the process. You need to submit all the documentation that the lenders are asking for, again, in order for them to finish analyzing your financial situation.
And once you get that pre-approval letter, you have actually reached a major milestone in the home buying process. This is where we get into step 4, and this is the fun part. This is actually finding the right home. Now, most buyers that we have interacted with start with, oh, we're open to this and that and this and that, and there's 300 possibilities of what they're open to. But a good agent will help you narrow down those possibilities to your non-negotiables and what are optionals. Now, recently we did this with a person who was open to. They probably had 300 or 400 different options of what they'd be happy to look at. But in the course of that conversation, we were able to narrow down that one of their non-negotiables was either a swimming pool or room for a swimming pool and outdoor entertaining. This eliminated townhomes from their possibility list real quickly.
So once you find the home that you have fallen in love with, that you can think could be your forever home, work with your realtor to fill out all the necessary paperwork, and also to make preparations to make the extra deposit once your offer has been accepted.
This is where we get into the 5th step. That is the race to meeting all the deadlines once your offer is accepted. As soon as that offer is accepted, that race really begins, and it begins in earnest to meet all the contract deadlines. There are 3 major deadlines in the contract.
The first one is to do your earnest money deposit. The second one is to do an inspection. And the third one is to actually convert your pre-approval into now a loan approval.
Now, meeting these deadlines will keep you on track, and we walk with you through the entire process. And I guarantee you, it will feel like a race. Now, for the inspection, we work with inspectors, whether that's home inspection, septic inspection, pool inspection, or any other specialties that might come up. Let's give you a couple of practical tips during this point.
During this period, keep communicating with your lenders to provide all the documentations that you need so that it will avoid the delays. Remember, there is a loan approval period that a deadline that we're trying to meet, so we need to make sure we get all the documentation in. Secondly, don't make any major credit purchases.
Don't make any credit purchases.
Yes. So, at this point, people get excited. They've got a new house. They want to buy new furniture. No, wait till everything is closed. You actually have the keys to your house, and then you can go shopping for your house.
Right. Don't buy a car. Don't open up a new line of credit. None of that. Another practical tip here is do not quit your job. Lenders will verify it before closing, and some lenders will actually verify that job after closing. And
during this period too, get insurance quotes, because this will affect your monthly mortgage payment. So shop it around and see who is the best fit for you.
And once you get the clear to close from your lender and title company, you will get the final numbers to review, and you'll have a chance to do a walkthrough of the property. And then that leads us to the sixth and final massive step in this process, and that is cross the closing line.
Yes. So the final deadline is closing day. And as Chris said, the title company will give you all the final paperwork that you need, all the final figures to wire all your money, and get everything in the office, or even set up like a mobile notary if that is necessary.
Now, we actually did that for one of our customers. We signed, the mobile notary came, and all the paperwork for buying the house was signed on the kitchen counter as they closed on their house. Now, we love this part. We are here to celebrate with you when you reach that day, and because this is the day that your journey to home ownership is once again complete. Now, these are the 6 big steps. Now, each one of those big steps has all sorts of little steps in between, and that's part of why you hire a trusted guide like a real estate agent or a real estate team to get you through the whole process. We're here to hold your hand. Along the way, there's going to be a couple of detours. We promise. There's going to be a couple of things that seem that are going to be stressful, but we are here to walk with you through it because our goal is to help you get to the closing line and realize your dream. To start a conversation with us, find us on social media and start a message with us, or pick up the phone and give us a call. We look forward to working with you.